Stay with me to see if we can answer this burning question. Did I finally find what I was looking for? Hey everyone, what's up? I'm Eric. Back in 2021, I made the move to Austin to hit reset and start fresh. This channel is all about my life here, the ups and all the weird and wonderful stuff in between. I'm calling it Eric Austin in Austin. If you're down to follow the journey, hit that like button, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. And yeah, check out my socials down below to keep up with all the extra stuff. Let's do this! Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm taking you to the Spring 2025 Record Convention. But before we dive into the vinyl wonderland, I thought it was time to finally show off my crown jewels of my own collection. I painstakingly and lovingly gone through every crate and created the ultimate playlist. 225 tracks from my personal archives. They're my favorites, and I'll put it on the screen as we tour the QR code, and of course, I'll also put it down, the link down below, so you can vibe right along with me. The collection is organized by decades, so the 70s, in the 80s, and then rolling through the 90s, and then culminating in something near and dear to my own heart, my Mariah Carey collection. Yes, I've been a lamb since 1990, and I'm not about to quit now. Let's dig in. The first record is the ultimate breakup album. This is Fleetwood Mac's Rumors, and somehow, despite the heartbreak and drama behind the scenes, they gave us Dreams, Don't Stop, Go Your Own Way, You Make Loving Fun, Gold Dust Woman, and special mention to Silver Springs, which was recorded during these sessions, but heartbreakingly cut from the final track list. Highlights of the video version included in the playlist is when Stevie looks over at Lindsay screaming, "You'll never get away from the sound of the woman that loves you." This live version from 1997, absolute chills. Elton John Diamonds, these songs on this record have been like life rafts. Tiny Dancer, Rocket Man, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, and Benny and the Jets are classics, but Someone Saved My Life Tonight hits different for me. It's about Elton nearly marrying someone he didn't love and his friend pulling him back from the brink. The story goes that he was to marry a woman and he put his head in the oven. Drama Queens Unite. And that George Michael duet on Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me, absolutely iconic. Stevie Wonder's Original Musicarium is one of my favorite all-time artists and records. He writes and produces his own material. This album specifically is a masterclass. Songs like Superstition, Higher Ground, Ribbon in the Sky, Isn't She Lovely? Every track is just a reminder of Stevie's genius. And if you're looking for a fun fact, Do I Do features Dizzy Gillespie on trumpet. It's just, casually here and there. The Carpenters. What's the 70s without the Carpenters? Karen Carpenter's voice is just like Velvet Sadness. And I always found it so tragic that she passed away from anorexia and bulimia before ever finding true love, even if it was true self-love. Everyone deserves that in this life, and I hope that she found it in the next. From this record, Rainy Days and Mondays, Superstar, For All We Know are all beautifully melancholic. You knew she was coming up. To a gay boy in Sweetwater, America, if you know where Sweetwater is, please put it in the comments down below. Donna Summer is a beacon, not unlike the beacon mentioned in The Devil Wears Prada.
This is a shining beacon of hope for, I don't know. Let's say a young boy growing up in Rhode Island with 6 brothers, pretending to go to soccer practice when he was really going to sewing class.
She is disco royalty. Hot Stuff and Bad Girls Make You Move, but on the radio and No More Tears, Enough is Enough. That duet with Barbra Streisand, that's power. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to talk about not just an album, but an absolute religion. Let's Go Crazy, Darling Nikki, When Doves Cry, and of course, Purple Rain. One of his band members, Bobby Z, said Prince calls it medicine, and it is. It just really has something about it. The way it crescendos, the way it crashes, the way the guitar solo takes you to a place where you just feel different about your life. No matter what, when you hear those opening chords of Purple Rain, you just stop time somehow and just listen. Prince explained that it symbolized the end of the world. Red and blue bleeding to purple and clinging to love and faith in an apocalyptic event. Prince wasn't just ahead of his time, he was timeless. We have entered the 80s, of course, and my favorite decade of all time. Tears for Fears, Songs from the Big Chair, is an amazing record from about 1985. The most standout track for me is Everybody Wants to Rule the World, and it was almost left off of this album altogether. Luckily, it was recorded and last added for all of our enjoyment. Additionally, songs like Shout and Head Over Heels are also synth pop perfection with deep emotional intelligence. Unlike many pop stars, George Michael didn't rely on a small army of collaborators. He was solely responsible for writing and producing almost every song on Faith. He brought the funk, the sex appeal, and the heart. One More Try specifically will break you. Monkey was way ahead of its time rhythmically. Yes. Whitney Houston. You give good love, Whitney. Absolutely. And Saving All My Love for You being the side chick anthem, it never sounded so elegant. And yes, also, The Greatest Love of All is on her debut. Her version was so much more moving than the one in Coming to America. That boy could.
Yes, Randy Watson. That boy is good. Good and terrible.
Miss Jackson If You Nasty had something to say with this release. This was at a time when she was exerting more control over her music career and life from her father at the time. What Have You Done For Me Lately, Nasty, and Let's Wait a While was a blueprint for pop independence. Jackson Rhythm Nation, as an album, it was decades ahead of its time. From social injustice and racism themes projected in the title track to Living in a World They Didn't Make with its foreshadowing in 1989 about school violence, Black Cat brought the rock, and Love Will Never Do brought the warmth in a video that is absolute fire. The Queen of Soul, y'all. The Queen of Soul in Pink Cadillac mode. Groove for days, even though this is just a single. If I'm in the car and this comes on, I always turn into a speed demon. Oh, Richie. So I saw him live, and I just have to tell you a story about how Texans pronounce his name, and he found it hilarious, and I do too. They pronounce it Lion-nail, like lion nail. I'll never unhear, and to this day, this is how I refer to him. All Night Long, Hello, and Stuck on You are staples. Many of you know this next artist, but his name is Steve Wariner, and this is his greatest hits. So it may be a deep cut for some of you, but this country hit was not a deep cut for my friend Patty. She's a family friend who played The Weeknd on repeat from 87 to 91, and she wore out the cassette single. I had to include it because when I think of the 80s, I think of this song. And next up is Belinda Carlisle, her album For Heaven on Earth. If you've seen San Junipero Black Mirror, you know Heaven is a Place on Earth is complete nostalgia. Also, Circle in the Sand and I Get Weak are also dreamy and joyful. Madonna time, y'all. You knew it was coming. What is the 80s without Madonna? I mean, come on. So this is Angel and Into the Groove. It's a double A-side. A double A-side means there are two singles released on one single. And this Into the Groove wins on this one. It's a total dance floor euphoria. My top Madge album is actually True Blue. It was released in 1986, and it has songs like Papa Don't Preach and Live to Tell, which is my number one Madonna track. Open Your Heart and La Isla Bonita, she was absolutely on fire in this era. She could do no wrong. And she reached a softer side a little bit later, and this is a compilation of all of her ballads. So she released this as she stepped into motherhood. Highlights on this record are Take a Bow, Crazy for You, 13 Going on 30, anyone? And Oh Father, the performance of Live to Tell that I included in the playlist is dedicated to AIDS victims, and I included it because it provides a moving tribute to icons like Freddie Mercury and Keith Haring, who was a personal friend of hers. It's probably one of her most powerful and vulnerable moments. If you watch her eyes, you can tell it's real loss. Pebbles has this amazing album, and it includes Girlfriend and Mercedes Boy. Both serve Sath and synth. This next artist, Tell It to My Heart, is 80s oxygen. Just don't lie to match with all that Aquanet in the air. Add in Don't Rush Me and I'll Always Love You. It's power vocals and shoulder pads for me. Always loved Richard Marx. He is an amazing artist, and shout out specifically to Hold On to the Nights, which is a ballad for heartbreakers. Next up, I have another single, and this is Atlantic Star, Always. This song was everywhere in 1988. As a matter of fact, at the first wedding I ever sang at, it was one of the songs performed. Before she judged idols, she was one. Cold Hearted, Straight Up, Forever Your Girl, bop after bop. Go ahead and cover 2 albums at once. So Hall & Oates, Private Eyes Are Watching You. Also Man Eater, One on One, I Can't Go For That, all Stone Cold hits. The 90s, get ready to groove to classic rock anthems that defined a generation, sway to the beats of pop powerhouses that ruled the airwaves, and immerse yourself in the diverse musical genres that made the 90s a truly magical era. First up, we have Fugees, The Score. Most legendary albums are made in multi-million-dollar studios. The Score, it was born in a basement. Pinky, I'm trying to record. First up, we have Fugees, The Score. So, if you didn't know, most legendary albums are made in multi-million-dollar studios. This record, it was born in a basement. The Fugees set up shop in Wyclef Jean's uncle's basement, and they called it the Booga Basement, and recorded the album on a $135,000 advance. The setting absolutely was not glamorous, but it gave the album its raw and organic energy. Wyclef described the process as calm and unconscious, with ideas flowing naturally rather than being forced. Ready or not, Fuji la la, No Woman, No Cry, unmatched flow and power. And we have a guest.
Today on The Eric Show, we interview my best friend. Tell me, when did you first know that you were a human trapped in a cat's body? Escándalo.
This record is called Wide Open Spaces, and some of my favorites from this one are I Can Love You Better, Tonight the Heartache's on Me. So this includes heartaches and harmonies. Selena, number ones. Aside from singing, Selena was a composer, producer, fashion designer, and model. At the time of her death, she owned 2 clothing boutiques in Texas named Selena, etc., each housing a full-service beauty salon. Her signature dark lipstick, big hair, oversized jeans, and glitzy jumpsuits earned her the nickname Tejano Madonna. Many of her costumes can now be viewed as part of the Selena Museum's permanent collection in Corpus Christi, and we might visit that together at some point. She was taken far too soon, and I refuse to name her killer, but I will name some of my favorite songs, including Como la Flor, Bitty Bitty Bom Bom, I Could Fall in Love, and Dreaming of You. Selena was joy, style, and soul. Boys to Men too. You know we all had it. For the most of the recording of what would become 2, Boyz II Men's chart-topping success also earned them the opportunity to craft a couple of songs with some of the most celebrated producers in the business. Midas Touch hitmaker Babyface, who wrote I'll Make Love to You and Water Runs Dry, and the legendary dream team of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Now we've come to the moment I've been waiting for, and I know my fellow Lamely out there are ready too. It's time to honor the one, the only, the elusive chanteuse herself.
Cause it's a chanteuse, darling. I'm a chanteuse. I'm on the stage.
Mariah Carey. For over 3 decades, Mariah has been serving vocals, vulnerability, and verifiable chart domination. We're talking 19 number 1 hits, 5-octave range, songwriting legend, diva moments that have become part of pop culture history. I don't know her anymore.
Think about people still referencing I don't know her all these years later.
I still don't know her. I've been a lamb since 1990, before she even whistled her way into superstardom. And clearly, I'm still here, still devoted, and still collecting every vinyl, remix, special release like it's the last note of emotions. So buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into my extensive Mariah Carey collection, from her game-changing debut to the genre-blending brilliance of Butterfly, to the glittering gems of Caution and beyond. Get ready for bops, ballads, and a few tear-jerkers, because when it comes to Mariah, there's always a story behind the song. This is her debut album, Where It All Began. She wrote every song. Despite being a debut artist, Mariah co-wrote every single track on this album. It's a rarity, especially for a young, unknown female artist at the time. Many assumed she was just a singer, but she was always a songwriter first. Fun fact, she wrote Alone in Love when she was only 16. Vision of Love also redefined vocal performance for female artists. Deep cuts like There's Gotta Be a Way still hit hard with its themes of unregulated bigotry. In this album, she gave us gospel runs and whistle notes galore. The song If It's Over was co-written with Carole King. Imagine being 21, writing with a legend. The story goes that Columbia Records approached Mariah to sing a cover of Natural Woman, but MC felt that it was already perfected by Aretha Franklin, but she still saw the genius of Carole King and offered to write a song with her instead. MTV Unplugged, I'll Be There, it was an absolute showstopper in 1992. It was performed live during Mariah's iconic MTV Unplugged special. The show was originally meant to prove to critics that she could actually sing live, something they constantly questioned because of how polished her studio vocals were. Her label suggested she end the show with a cover. She chose I'll Be There, originally by the Jackson 5, and brought in her then background singer and friend Trey Lorenz to duet with her. It was a last-minute, career-defining performance. Trey Lorenz had no solo record deal at the time. He was working behind the scenes as a backup singer, but their flawless harmony and his sweet tenor shocked audiences. Viewers and radio stations started calling in immediately after Unplugged episode aired. This performance was so popular that Columbia Records released it as an official single, and it hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. And it's the only song that she did not write of her 19 #1 hits. Next up is Music Box from 1993. I'll just hold up both of these at the same time. This is the original album release. This is the recent release of the box set. Believe it or not, Hero from this album was not actually meant for Mariah. It's one of her most iconic songs, and it was originally intended for Gloria Estefan as part of the soundtrack for the film Hero from 1992. But once Mariah demoed it, Tommy Mottola insisted she keep it for herself, and the rest is history. Mariah later admitted that she didn't even like Hero at first. Now she calls it one of her most meaningful songs, especially after fans told her it helped them survive dark times. Also, Without You, Anytime You Need a Friend, and now the music box set with Do You Think of Me and Luther Vandross, it's absolutely essential. If you didn't know, All I Want for Christmas Is You is basically public property, but don't sleep on Miss You Most at Christmas Time. It's also a killer. This is one of my favorite Mariah albums. It is Daydream from 1995. This is the crossover queen. Daydream marked Mariah's full embrace of R&B and hip-hop. You can feel it in tracks like the Fantasy remix, featuring Old Dirty Bastard, which was revolutionary at the time. A pop diva collaborating with a hardcore rapper, unheard of. The remix didn't just chart, it changed music history, paving the way for pop, hip-hop collabs that we now take for granted. Fun fact, her lovely husband at the time, Tommy Mottola, was furious about the ODB remix at first. She had to fight for it to be released, and now it's a classic. Fantasy also made Billboard history. When Fantasy debuted at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, Mariah became the first female artist to ever debut on the top of the charts. Only the second artist, period, to do so after Michael Jackson. This song includes a Tom Tom Club sample, and Mariah insisted on it, proving her ear for funky, unexpected hooks. The closing track is called Looking In, and it's a brief window into her soul during a time when she was very censored. It is probably one of her most personal and haunting songs, and a thinly veiled cry for help. At the time, Mariah was still in her controlling marriage to Sony CEO Tommy Mottola, and this track offered the first raw glimpse into her emotional prison. The actual line, so here I am for all of them to bleed, but they can't take my heart from me. It hit so hard once all of her fans understood the context of her life. Then there are other tracks like the R&B excellence that is Melt Away and Always Be My Baby that were bumped loudly into my room, much to the chagrin of my parents. If you're ready for a metamorphosis like I am, this is Butterfly, which was released in 1997. It's not just an album, it is an essential part of her catalog. This is the project where she finally broke free from her tightly controlled marriage, both musically and personally. It's emotionally raw, sonically bold, and still deeply influential nearly 3 decades later. It is widely considered as Mariah's magnum opus, the moment she fully embraced her identity, her sound, and her truth. After her separation from Sony music exec and then husband Tommy Mottola, Mariah took full creative control for the first time. She later said that Butterfly is the first album where I had the freedom to be myself. It also includes my personal favorite Mariah song of all time, Close My Eyes. It is on side B, and it is right after Baby Doll, so check it out. Rainbow. It's not just Pride related. It was my senior year in high school soundtrack. Songs like Heartbreaker, Petals, and the club mixes, specifically of Heartbreaker, If You Should Ever Be Lonely, they were absolute on fire. Love them. Check them out. Next up, we have the Loverboy single from the soundtrack Glitter. I know most of you out there are probably rolling your eyes when I say the word glitter, but that was an amazing album. Just check it out and be open-minded. Shout out to Nathan who scored this one for me. Thank you. The Emancipation of Mimi. How many comebacks does one artist have to have before it's not a comeback? Don't call it a comeback. We Belong Together proves she never left. Merry Christmas to You, released in 2010. Yes, there's a second one. Specifically on this playlist, I included a version of Oh Santa with Ariana Grande and Jennifer Hudson. It was Christmas Joy Explosion. This is her most recent original album release. This is Caution from 2018, and it's her late career masterpiece and proof that legends evolve. It's sleek, smart, subtle, and full of that signature Mariah blend of emotion, wit, and vocal mastery, but with a modern experimental edge that stunned critics and thrilled lambs, including me. Here are some of the sharp and true interesting facts that we can weave into this. So it was actually a critical darling. It was probably one of her most celebrated albums by critics, so you should definitely check it out. It received universal acclaim, scoring an 82 on Metacritic. It's Mariah's highest rated album ever on the platform. Rolling Stone, Pitchfork, and The Guardian all praised it for being effortlessly cool, elegant, and refreshingly experimental. Rarities, which was released in 2020, is more than just a B-sides collection. It's a deeply personal time capsule Mariah gifted to her family during her 30th anniversary year in the industry. It's full of unreleased songs, deep cuts, and iconic live performances. And it showcases her songwriting legacy and emotional range in a way no standard greatest hits album ever could. Here are some fascinating true facts. It is 30 years in the vault, released in 2020. The Rarities was curated by Mariah herself as a companion to her memoir, The Meaning of Mariah Carey, and hashtag MC30 celebration. Every track was personally selected. Many had never been heard before, even by hardcore fans. She specifically is quoted as saying, "These are songs that I've had in the vault for years. I wanted to release them now because they represent little pieces of my life that I never got to share." That was a lot, wasn't it? If you've made it this far, you deserve a record collector's medal. Thank you for joining me on this musical trip down memory lane. Don't forget to check out the playlist. And stay tuned for the next stop, the Austin Record Convention. Let's see what treasures we uncover. Until then, keep the record spinning. And here we are diving into the spring 2025 Austin Record Convention. It's the largest record show in the USA. This event brings together collectors, sellers, and music lovers from all over the country. And yes, I was absolutely in my element. Held at the Palmer Event Center, this year's show was packed with wall-to-wall with over 300 vendors offering vinyl, cassettes, posters, memorabilia, and everything in between. There were even 8-tracks. Whether you're into obscure punk 7 inches or pristine first pressings of soul classics, this was the place to be. You know, there's something about digging through crates side by side with other collectors that just hits different. You're flipping fast, scanning spines, your heart skips a beat when you see that one cover you've been chasing for years. Now, I come in with a wish list longer than a Mariah Carey high note. Some rare promos, some dream pressings, and while I did make some epic scores, more on that soon, the jury is still out on whether I truly found what I was looking for, so make sure you stay tuned to the end to get that information. But that's the magic of crate digging, right? It's not just about the records, it's about the thrill of the search. Stick around, I'm about to show you exactly what I picked up, and trust me, some of these finds are chef's kiss. Okay, y'all, pause everything. My friend Anna just slipped into this vintage fur coat and instantly became 1970s movie star fabulous. One of the coolest parts of the Austin Record Convention is meeting people who don't just sell records, they live vinyl. I stopped by this vendor's booth and they gave me the behind the scenes look at how records are actually made, from lacquer cutting to pressing. If you've ever wondered how these grooves come to life,
on a lathe, I liken it to a reverse turntable, if you will. Instead of reading the grooves, it's actually cutting them into the lacquer itself. From there, this goes to our electroplating facility, where this gets coated in silver and then gets dunked into a bath of nickel and charged. And what that does is the electricity makes the nickel bond to the face of this, and you get a negative image of the lacquer itself. You crack this off and you pull it, and then you have a master. This master is a failsafe for the mother, which is what you make from this. The mother is a failsafe for the stamper itself, and this is what we get at Gotta Groove Records. So this is raised grooves. These are the stamps that we actually put into our machines to press records. We get two of them, one for each side. I'm just making a mess over here, so I'm gonna stop. So what happens is we put this in our machines, and we have one A side on the bottom, B side on the top. The vinyl lands in the middle of it. The labels are on either side, and it closes at 300 degrees, 1500 psi, and it presses the vinyl out and fills the grooves with the vinyl, and then it gets trimmed, and the press will cut off the excess vinyl, and then we have a record, and that's the whole process. So this is a biscuit. It's what we call. That's our terminology. Other plants call them something else, cakes, whatever. And this is the raw material that we work with. These are transparent green pellets. This gets manufactured in Thailand and then comes over. So we have transparent green, and then this is the black vinyl that we use. This is that looks like little lentil beans. Cool. And there's some stuff here. You can see like more of what we do and the work that we do.
Cool. Gotta Groove Records.
Gotta Groove Records.
And just when I thought the answer might be no, boom! Simply Red's A New Flame pops up in near mint condition and first pressing. If you don't know me by now, come on. This one's been on my wish list forever. Question finally answered. Okay, hold on to your butterflies because I found a rare Mariah Carey promo from the glitter era. Yes, that era. It's got Don't Stop Funkin' for Jamaica and Never Too Far, two tracks that deserve way more love. Lambs, this is not a drill.